And a very good morning, and a very good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, for good people of the tube. Hope you're well today, hope you're feeling grand and all is well in your world. Hello there. This is one awesome guitar, and you will see more of it very soon. Monday, most probably. But at this point in time, let's just forget about it. You can't really forget about it, it's too gorgeous. Anyway, moving along. Q&A Wednesday, everybody. Hello. Question 1 of the day. Let's put Plectrum down, Dave. Question 1 is, do you own a Parlour style acoustic guitar? Not really, no. I mean, my dad's got a really small acoustic, but I wouldn't necessarily call it, well, it kind of is a Parlour guitar, but again, it's not really mine, but I don't really play it a lot. It's, I'll have to show it. I did a video on it many years ago. When I first left Old Hat, it was one of the first videos I did. I demoed that guitar. But, other than that, no, I don't really own a Parlour guitar. It's more my dad's guitar than mine. But no, I don't really own a Parlour guitar. But you also, yeah, I don't own one. But you asked, what would you get if you were to buy one? I would buy a Martin if I could afford one, but I can't. So I would like one like John Frusciante's. I don't know if that'd be classed as a Parlour guitar. John Frusciante's. I think it's like I don't know what it is. It's just that mahogany looking small bodied acoustic. They're just gorgeous looking. Eddie Vedder's got one as well, and they just look amazing. But that'd be the one I'd buy if I was to buy one. But at this point in time, though, my go-to acoustic is my Honor. And they said Harmony. It's not Harmony. It's a Honor. I've got it in open C, and it's my go-to acoustic at this point in time, and I really love that acoustic. It's just amazing. I got it when I got it. It was from a second-hand store. It was, I think it cost me like 40 quid from a second-hand store, and it was just a nightmare. It didn't play. It was electric, and the pickup didn't work on the low E string for some reason, and it just wasn't behaving. So I gave it to a local guitar luthier called John Lavoie, and he just made it work. He made the thing play. It's just like it's like one of the nicest acoustics I've ever played now. I absolutely adore it to bits. And it's like a Martin D28. It's basically a copy of a D28. But I love it, and it's like a dreadnought. But I really love that acoustic guitar. My other one is a Tanglewood, but that's kind of out of commission in a way. But yeah, if I was to buy a Parlour style guitar, it would probably have to be a Martin of some description. I love Martins. I can't afford a Martin, but I would like a Martin. It's one of those kind of things. I've always, again, because of John Frusciante, I've always wanted a Martin acoustic. You know, just that sound of his makes me go, I want that sound. So yeah. You also asked, start on question 1, everybody. A tangent enough then on a totally different acoustic, but hey, Tangent Boy is here, and that's what we're here for, isn't it? Yes, it is. I don't know. Anyway. You also asked, what would you have on an acoustic pedal board? Okay. I did have an acoustic pedal board. I don't play acoustic a lot. really. Compared to electric, I'm not really an acoustic guitar nut or fan. I mean, I like playing acoustic, but not as much as I like playing electric. But when I do play acoustic, I like to run effects with an acoustic. So if I was to have a designated pedal board for an acoustic guitar, it would have to have a reverb on there, a delay, a looper, a chorus of some description, but a very kind of subtle chorus, not over the top chorus, just like a little subtle one, just to accentuate certain parts of an acoustic guitar, everybody. But yeah, it wouldn't be a drastic chorus. So yeah, we've got a reverb, a delay, a looper, chorus. Is there anything else? No, that's what I would have. Not specifically in that order. I think it would be from the PA, it would go into the chorus pedal. No, the reverb pedal, the delay pedal, the chorus pedal, looper. No, looper, reverb, delay, chorus, and into my guitar. That's how I would have it, and that's what I would have if I was to have an acoustic board. Actually, I tell a lie. Actually, another pedal I would have on my acoustic board. It might be a bit cheating, but I would still like it on there because when I did do a couple of acoustic gigs, I used this pedal in conjunction with my acoustic, and it just gave me more tonal variation, and also gave my acoustic more of a less of a flat plugged straight into a PA kind of sound. It just gave it a bit more depth and thingy. Is the Boss Acoustic Simulator pedal. And I have one, and I love it to bits. I don't use it a lot, but I would have that as well. So I would definitely have a Boss Acoustic Simulator on all the time, because it's a gorgeous, gorgeous pedal to run with an acoustic live. Because although the Acoustic Simulator pedal was designed so you can play electric live and have an acoustic sound, people like Stone Gossard use it, and James Dean Bradfield from Manic Street Preachers used to use it, and other people have used it. But when you plug an acoustic into it, and then plug it into a PA or an acoustic guitar amplifier, well, not so much an acoustic guitar amp, but especially a PA, the Boss pedal gives you so much more range on your acoustic. You know, just instead of your acoustics controls, set all them to kind of like neutral, and use that Boss pedal to kind of dial in the acoustic sound you want to hear. It's really, really awesome. It's really awesome, and I need to do a video on that. So yeah, I'll do a video on that at some point. I might actually get the acoustic pedal out, plug my acoustic into it, and then plug it straight into the camera and see what that sounds like, just to see if that works. I might do that at some point. Oh, I have to do that at some point, should I say? But yeah, so that's what I would have. So yeah, I mean. So yeah, acoustic simulator pedal, looper, reverb, delay, chorus. That's what I would have, and then out of the chorus would go to my guitar, and out of the acoustic simulator would go to PA or amp, depending. Okay, so yeah, that's what I would have on an acoustic pedal board. People of the tube, do you have an acoustic pedal board? If so, what is on it? Let us know in the comment section below. Okay, and you also asked final question of question 1 is can you do a rig rundown of Duke's the Luda? Yeah, why not? Why not? It'll be a chuckle. I'll see what I can do. I'll see if they want to do it, and if so, I'll do a little. We'll do a funny little video on it. Yeah, it'd be quite fun. I think actually, it'd be quite a giggle. Yeah, I can pretend like I can pretend like I'm one of those people from Premier Guitar. Anyway, moving along. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question. Move on to question 2 now, everybody. Question 2. Okay, so question 2 is, do you think an EQ pedal can affect the tone of a guitar just as much as changing the pickups? Yes. I would say an EQ pedal would affect the tone of a guitar more than changing just the pickups on a guitar, personally. Because you've got the whole, especially if it's a 12-band EQ or a 10-band EQ. 12-band EQ, Dave? I don't think there is such a thing. There's a 10-band EQ. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, but yeah, having an EQ pedal, I think, can sculpt any guitar into anything you want. They're a very, very powerful tool, an EQ pedal. They're really, really cool. And I've only ever played through one once. But, well, technically once. But I played through the boss one once. But technically, I've messed around with the zoom for years on the EQ section. And I also mess around with my Line 6 HX on the EQ section. I have a 10-band EQ on my sound on every sound in my in my Line 6 HX. I have a 10-band EQ running. So yeah, I would say that having an EQ pedal will definitely alter your guitar's tone a lot more than just changing the pickups. Changing the pickups sometimes can be quite drastic, but not really, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It can sound different with your guitar can sound different with different pickups, but the same in a kind of way. If that makes any sense. I probably don't make any sense whatsoever. But yeah, sometimes when you change pickups, the guitar doesn't alter a great deal. But I say with an EQ pedal, you could really mod the sound of the guitar. I mean, like if you've got a really middle heavy guitar, you can scoop out the mids and it'll totally alter the way that guitar behaves. And the same thing if it's got no mids and you boost the mids, it'll change that guitar behaves as well. So, you know, so you can kind of pretty much do anything. If you are after that kind of thing, then yeah, I mean, I would recommend an EQ pedal anyway to anybody. I think they're just brilliant things. I mean, having more control over your tone than just the EQ on your amp is really, really, really cool. Really kind of important as well to sculpt it exactly what to sculpt your tone to exactly what you want to hear. It's really, really cool and really important to have. Okay, so you also asked, what are the benefits of changing pickups? Well, it can vary, depending, really. I mean, it depends. If your pickups are, like, really microphonic and they're really just kind of like, they feedback all the time, they don't really behave or they don't sound the way you want, changing pickups can kind of rectify all those situations. But the thing is, you've got to make sure you're picking the right pickups. Because although watching a demo on a pickup brand that you want to buy, go, oh, they sound great. When you get them, they might not sound that way in your guitar or through your setup. You know, I really wanted Seymour Duncan SSL1s for years because obviously I heard that John Frusciante used them. Although we don't know if he did now, but hey, doesn't really matter. I really want SSL1s, and when I got SSL1s, I was like, these are really good. But as kind of like the year wore on, I started to notice that they were a bit dull and lifeless and a bit toneless in a way, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, they're a bit dull. They don't have much sparkle to them. And I like sparkle, especially in a Stratocaster pickup. So yeah, I mean, so just be aware that changing pickups is the answer to rectify some problems, but isn't the answer sometimes. If that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. But, I like saying that today, don't I? But yeah, because it's difficult, actually. Yeah, because sometimes it can solve all issues and you're like, yay! And then sometimes it can go, You know what I mean? If your pickups are microphonic, personally, I quite like microphonic pickups. I like them to squeal. I like it as like a challenge almost, kind of, because when I start playing, I don't like to stop playing and gaps. I don't like that whole thing of kind of like doing. Oh. I don't like that kind of staccato-y kind of playing. I like things to flow, so gaps for me would be something like that. Instead of going... You know, instead of doing that, I do definitely prefer to go... You know, that's what I prefer to do. So, having microphonic pickups doesn't really matter if you're playing like that because you never stop playing, so it never really gets in the way. But it can get annoying for some people, and I totally understand why. So yeah, it does have benefits, but it also has drawbacks as well. And also drawbacks are you could buy some pickups, change out your pickups you had originally, put them ones in, and your guitar doesn't sound anything like you want it to. But again, that's the gamble we all make when we decide to modify guitars. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's god awful, and sometimes it's brilliant beyond belief. So yeah, that's some of the benefits. I mean, there are others, but they're the ones I can. They're the main ones I can see. It's just like, you know, just to change the guitar to behave more where you want to hear it and stuff like that. So yes. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question. Okay, moving on to question 3 now, everybody. I'm lost. I can't even count. Hey, I'm dyslexic. What do you want from me? Anyway, question 3. What is the Fender amp in front of John Frusciante at the Slane Castle gig? It's not an amp. It's a reverb tank. At Slane Castle and during the By the Way era, John had a Fender reverb tank at the front, kind of like built into his pedal board almost, it looks like. If I remember correctly, it was actually mounted off the floor because when John would jump around or people would jump around near the stage, the reverb tank and the springs would go and you get that great noise that we all know and love of a reverb tank splashing about the place. It's really bad for it. But so they had to mount it so it kind of shock absorbed, so to say, so it didn't make that horrific noise, even though it is a great noise, but it is quite intrusive and horrific. I think there's a Buckethead song where he's doing that to his amp, and he hits the amp and the reverb tank just goes like that, and it sounds really cool. But yeah, it's a reverb. Basically, it's a reverb unit. Basically, it's a Fender. Like Fender, I don't know what they call it. It's just a Fender reverb unit. It's really nice. It's like a blonde Tolex kind of thing with like a brownish kind of grill cloth to it. But yeah, it's not an amplifier. It's just a reverb tank, and they sound gorgeous. I once tried, excuse me, just to digress, but kind of not. In Old Hat, when I was in Old Hat, I was rooting around in Old Hat, and I came across a Marshall reverberation unit. It looked like a really tiny plexi, and it was from the 70s. I don't know what year, but it must have been early 70s. And it was a Marshall reverberation unit, and it was amazing. It was valve driven, and it didn't work when I found it. I found it in the bottom of a load, just like it was just covered. It was filthy, so I cleaned it up and cleaned up all the inside, and we sent it off to the amp tech, and it came back working. And it was one of the best reverb units I've ever heard. It was so nice, and I never got to demo it, sadly. There is I do have a video on my Instagram of me playing through it. I had a Gibson 355, and I was going into a Marshall 50-watt small box real plexi panel Marshall into its original cab with that on it, and it just sounded gorgeous. It was just one of those sounds that makes you go, I'm home, you know, kind of like that. So yeah, Marshall reverberation unit. I've never seen another one though. It was actually called a reverberation unit. It wasn't called a reverb unit. It was reverberation, printed on the front in big block lettering. But I've never seen another one of them. But it was really, really nice, and I missed that actually. I missed the super bass as well that was there. But yeah, such is life. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, that's what is in front of his pedal board. It's not an amp, it's a Fender reverb unit. Okay, so you also asked, what's your favourite Jimi Strat? My favourite Jimi Strat is his 68 Black Strat that nobody knows where it is. When Jimmy the night Jimmy died, he had that guitar with him, and it fell into the possession of Monica Danneman, who was Jimmy's then girlfriend, and she kept it until she passed away. And as far as I know, as far as I've read, only a handful of people have seen that guitar, because her express wish was to have no one mess with the guitar. No one gets rid of the strings, no one changes the action, no one does anything to the guitar. People just leave it alone as a thingy. In relation to Jimmy's white Stratocaster, that has been absolutely messed about with. I read that Jimmy's strings were cut off the guitar and binned. I read they changed the action on Jimmy's guitar. I heard they'd just done certain things to Jimmy's white Strat, the Star Spangled Banner Strat, the Woodstock Strat. And it's like, why would you do that? Same thing with Rory Gallagher's Strat as well. I heard they lowered Rory's action and restrung the guitar. Bernie Marsden actually played the guitar as it was Sadly, when Rory passed away, like, you know, when he left the guitar, Bernie Marsden got to play the guitar with the strings that Rory had on it. But it wasn't soon after that, I think, they got rid of the original strings and they changed the action. I've got a guitar magazine talking about what they did to it, and they changed all that, and that's just like, it's just a no for me. You don't do that. You just don't. You don't do that. So I really appreciate that Monica Danneman said no one touches Jimmy's black Strat, and that black Strat, according to Mitch Mitchell, was his favourite. As much as he liked the white one and the Flying V, Mitch said that was the one he would always take to his hotel room, and that was the one he was always playing. And that's the one you see of most pictures of him in the studio. The black Strat, maple fretboard, big headstock, the Isle of Wight guitar. You know, that's the one you see him playing the most. Machine Gun. It's the Machine Gun Strat. And I think the white one and the black one are custom orders from Fender, which is one of the reasons I think Jimmy never smashed those guitars. I think those two guitars are custom guitars made for Jimmy. Myself, I personally think, because if you look at them, there's certain things that just don't add up. The string tree, for one, look where the string tree is. It's not normal. That string tree has been put there so Jimmy can thread the low E string and the A string through it and not have the strings pop out the nut or pop out of the string tree, which they tend to do if you just leave the string tree in its normal position and string it up left-handed. So I think those two guitars are custom orders, much in the same way the Flying V from Gibson was a custom thing. So I think those two Strats are custom. I think there's some jiggery pokery going on in the guitar itself. But again, that's another video altogether. Anyway, but yeah, I really appreciate the fact that Monica Danneman said that, like, you know, nobody touches it, nobody messes with it, nobody, you know, because apparently it's still in its guitar case with Jimmy's strings on it, set up the way Jimmy wanted it. It's still got the purple strap that Jimmy had at the Isle of Wight Festival, or apparently it's gone brown now, faded, and apparently it's got like some of his handwritten lyrics of the songs he was working on at the time in the guitar case as well. So wherever that guitar is, I hope it stays hidden, because I don't want that. I would not want that guitar to end up in somebody's private collection or in a bank vault somewhere, or in somewhere where it's going to get messed with, because it's just you're just wiping out history, and it's just not fair and it's not right. And I think Jimmy would have something to say about that if he were here. So I hope that I hope that guitar never surfaces, and I hope it remains hidden for a long, long time. Rumor has it that Uli John Roth owns it, because I think he went out with Monica Danneman, and if he owns it, wicked, because he's a Jimi Hendrix fan and he's a Jimi Hendrix nut, and he'd respect it, and he would really look after it. And if that's the case, that's wicked. But I would dread to think I have guitar falling into a collector's thing and getting all messed about with. It's guitars like that they snapshot a certain point in time that needs to be retained. You know, the white Strat should have been retained for what it was. You know, but it wasn't, sadly. And the same thing with Jimmy's Flying V, that wasn't either. So it's a bit sad, really. Even Jimmy's SG has been messed with, and, you know, it's... Why can't you just not mess with the action? If you want to restring it, cool, restring it. But don't get rid of those strings. Put them somewhere safe and say, these are the original strings on it. This is how he set it up. Why mess with the action? Why mess with setting it up? That's that person's guitar. It's not yours. You know, that's Rory Gallagher's guitar. It's Jimi Hendrix's guitar. That's whoever's guitar. You know, you don't mess with it in that way. I don't like... it gets my goat a bit. I don't really like... I don't like the idea of it, especially because they're heroes of mine as well. It's like, you know, you've just got rid of how they had their guitar set up, so we'll never know. I mean, I know Rory had a silly high action, like it was so high, and I don't know about Jimmy's, but because there's just no way of knowing about Jimmy's anymore. Sadly, you can watch videos and look at pictures, but it's not really, no one really knows. But yeah, that's my favourite Stratocaster, the lost black Stratocaster, the 1968 custom order, I think it was, Fender Strat that Jimmy played Machine Gun on, and the Isle of Wight Festival on, and his last couple of gigs with, and he just took with him everywhere. And that's my favourite Jimmy Strat, and long may it remain hidden and in Jimmy's condition. That'd be brilliant. I'd like to know that if it ever resurfaced and somebody said, "Oh yeah, doing this to it, and I'm doing that to it, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm like, murderous rage would ensue. Anyway, but yeah, that's my favourite Jimi Strat, because I don't know. There's something about that black Strat. I think it's because he played machine gun on it, and it's just infused with Jiminess. You know what I mean? It'd be just to be near that guitar would be incredible. I mean, I'm just to digress again. When I went down to London to Jimmy's flat in Mayfair in London, they had his Epiphone acoustic. That if you ever seen him play, he sat on his bed playing Hound Dog on this Epiphone acoustic. That guitar was there when I was there, and I was looking at the guitar thinking that's the guitar, and I couldn't take it in. I still can't to this day. I still can't take in being there. It didn't feel. It was too overwhelming for me to actually take it in. It's been like, I don't know how many years, about 2-3 years now since I was there, but I still haven't come to terms with me. I was actually in Jimi Hendrix's flat. That was his acoustic guitar. There were his handwritten lyrics. That was his bedroom. That was his house. He was in that space. I still haven't got used to that. I don't think I ever will. And I want to go again, but I don't think I'll get used to it then either. And I would love to play there. I've seen a lot of people do gigs in the in Jimmy's flat. I would love to go there and play some Jimi Hendrix music and have it recorded. I would adore that, but I don't know if I don't know how you go about that. I don't know if it's free for anybody to go in, or is it kind of like, you know, you're chosen by request, in which case then I don't know if that'll ever happen. But that's one of those things that I would love to do. And it was just a bit overwhelming. But Jimmy being such a massive influence on me, it was to be in the same space that he occupied all those years ago. It was a bit too much. It was almost too much. It was like when I went to visit Rory Gallagher in Ireland. That was too much as well, and I just couldn't. There was too many emotions that I couldn't actually make sense of it. Anyway, I'm waffling. So yeah. Anyway. I could talk about that for hours on end. I bet you couldn't tell. Anyway, so yeah, hope I answered your question. I'm going to move on to question 4 now. I'm going to stop myself because I will talk about that for hours. And I have 3 more questions to get through. Okay, so question 4. It's all of a sudden gone very, very dark outside and weird kind of bluish light. Anyway, question 4. Do you miss working in a music store, and would you work in music retail again? Yes, I do miss working in a guitar music store. I do miss that a lot. It was really good fun. I do have certain issues with working in a music store with my anxiety issue. It's not an excuse, but it is an excuse. Because I'm not very good working around, you know, I'm not very good in crowds or around, you know, I'm not the best around people because I get very nervous and very kind of jittery. But I do miss it immensely. And would I do it again? Yeah, I would, definitely. But I don't know. There's only one guitar shop around here, and it's not big enough to require more than 1 or 2 people that work there at this point in time. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, working at Old Hat was absolutely amazing. I loved it to bits, and I do miss it immensely. And yeah, it's just not very. It's not a very happy memory. You know, it's a happy memory, but it's not a happy memory because, like, you know, knowing that you kind of like, you know, where I was and what it was so much fun and so enjoyable. It's, you know, that's that. Kind of gone, so to say. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I would do it again. Given the option in the right place. Though it'd have to be in the right place, and I'd have to know I was able to do it mentally. You know what I mean? So yeah. So okay. So question 5. Now. Yeah. So I hope that's question 5. How do I get my tremolo flat against the body on my Stratocaster? Okay. So it's fairly simple, but I know exactly what you mean, because when I first got my white Strat, my white Strat was set to float, so the tremolo was up like that. I wanted it flat to the body because I'd recently broke a string mid-gig and found that guitar just goes wildly out of tune and wildly sharp and you can't play it. So I wanted the tremolo flat to the body. So that never happened again. So if I broke a string, I could keep playing. So what you need to do is you need to go into the back cavity of your guitar. I can't show you on this guitar because it's not a Stratocaster, but on the back, there's a plate. Get rid of that plate. You know, take it off. In all fairness, I don't have plates on any of my Strats. I just take them off. I don't bin them. I put them aside. But I do have all the back plates to my guitars, but I just don't ever use them. I don't like them. But I like to be able to get. I just think they get in the way. I think they're just a pointless little bit of plastic. Anyway, yeah. So you need to get rid of the plate on the back. Get rid of that. Just take it off. There's 6 screws. Just remove it, and then you'll open it up, and there'll be springs, the tremolo block, a claw, and 2 screws going into the body, heading up towards the neck. To get the tremolo flat to the body, you need to screw those 2 screws in, nice and slowly though. You don't want to round out the screw tip like I have done many times. But yeah, that's what you want to do. Screw those 2 screws in, but do it incrementally. Do it a bit at a time, and just keep checking. Just keep flipping the guitar back over and checking where the plate is. Once the plate's flat to the body, you're done. But it's those 2 claw screws in the back you need to adjust. So just screw them in, just bit by bit. Don't go crank them all the way in, because that's not a good thing. Just do it bit by bit. Keep checking with the tremolo plate. When the actual tremolo plate, is actually flush to the body, then that's what you do. So it's very simple, but I know what you mean. When I first did it, I was a bit like, ooh, what do I do? What do I do? But yeah, that's how you flat the tremolo to it. Yes, that's how you do it. So how about that's a question? Final question of the day, everybody. Question 6. I'm about to buy a Les Paul style guitar, but I have heard you say that vintage guitars have had some quality issues lately. Yes, but that seems to be rectified now. A lot of people seem to be saying, no, mine's great, and this, that, and the other. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really speak to vintage anymore. They never really spoke to me in the first place. I actually had a few emails towards them that were kind of like, what's the deal? Because I'm supposed to be an endorsee of vintage for the Boulevard Black V6 Icon. I'm on their website and everything. But once I got that guitar, I never heard from them again. Once I gave them all my details and all the stuff that I wanted, that was on my little kind of profile on their website, I never heard anything from them again. And not for the lack of trying, I emailed them all the time, and I just never heard anything from them. And then I found out that all endorsees got invited to this guitar show, and because this guy who was a vintage endorsee said, "Are you coming to this guitar show this weekend in Birmingham?" I think it was. I don't know. And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, all JHS vintage guitar endorsees have been invited. Did you not get an invite?" I was like, "No." So I emailed Vintage and they never replied. So yeah, after I got my lemon drop, I just kind of gave up on them more than anything really. I mean, I still love their guitars. I'm still very proud kind of endorser of the V6 Icon, the Boulevard Black one. I think it's one of the coolest guitars in the world. I love it to bits, and I've still got mine. But as a company, I don't really talk to them anymore for that reason. Like literally for like 2 years, I was emailing them and getting nothing back. So it was like, well, no. I even tried to get some guitars off them to demo, and they said no. So it's like, well, okay, fine. That was the one time I actually emailed back saying no, sorry. That was like about 3 years ago that happened. But I have tried to contact them, but nothing. But I still stand by their guitars. Although from what I've heard recently, yeah, there is quality control slippage, which is, not good. But again, I've heard some of them are bad, some of them are good. So I don't know. I think it's got to judge it on its merits, really. Kind of judge it on kind of like whatever. If you go into a guitar shop and there's a vintage guitar there and it's amazing, then it's an amazing guitar. If you pick up a vintage guitar and it's rubbish and it's got nasty fret ends and it just doesn't work, then it's rubbish. Like anything really, you get rubbish Gibsons and good Gibsons. You get good Fenders and crap Fenders. It's good and bad, but I did hear a lot of more negativity towards the quality control of vintage recently. But I don't know if that's been rectified. Like I say, I don't really speak to the company anymore, so I don't really know. So, But yeah, because they just decided that I, just disappeared. After I became an endorsee, they just didn't talk to me. Which is a bit weird and kind of annoyed me immensely. I bet you can't tell. Anyway, it's not important, Dave. Why did you even talk about that? I don't know. Anyway, forget all that. That didn't happen. Okay, so yeah, they have had quality issues recently, but I have heard some people buying the Lemon Drop recently, and it's really good. So, if you want a Les Paul style guitar, because you said you're looking at similar priced Epiphones, I would recommend the vintage Lemon Drop over an Epiphone. Myself personally, I've tried a lot of Epiphone Les Pauls, but I just don't think the sound wise, the build quality I would say is on par. Epiphone and vintage build quality, my Epiphone and my vintage are pretty much on par build quality. They feel kind of like the same, you know what I mean? They feel solid as rock. Although my vintage is heavier, like it just feels bulkier than the Epiphone. The Epiphone feels a bit more it is thinner in the body and it's a lot lighter. Whereas the vintage is just it's a Les Paul. It's a proper Les Paul. The Lemon Drop is, and that's why I love it mostly. I'll never get rid of it. That's my Les Paul, if you will. The Lemon Drop is my Les Paul. So yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say buy blind. I wouldn't say order one online without trying it first, because I don't want it to come and it's rubbish for you. That would be horrific. So if you're going to buy a vintage Lemon Drop, try and find a shop that stocks them and go and try one. And make your mind up that day. And maybe even A/B it with an Epiphone Les Paul or another Les Paul, another brand Les Paul, I don't know. And just see how it kind of stacks up, so to say. See how it feels to you more than anything. But yeah, I would highly recommend the V100, the Lemon Drop. It's just a stunningly awesome guitar. It really is. And like I say, it's my Les Paul. And it will always be my Les Paul. Unless something comes along to beat it, and that's got some shoes to fill, I can tell you that for sure. Because when I plug that thing in, that is the sound of a Les Paul to me. That guitar is just the sound of a Les Paul. It's much in the same way as when I first plugged this in, this was the sound of a 335 kind of guitar. You know what I mean? It has that kind of like warmth and blues. You know, B.B. King thing. And you get that. You know, this has that thing. Whereas that vintage Lemon Drop has the Les Paul thing. So, yeah, I'm a bit in love with this guitar. And like I say, I'll get to review on this soon. Because I don't think it'll be going back, this one. I think I might have to keep this one. It's a bit too gorgeous. I might have to purchase this one. Because it's a rather nice guitar. Anyway, I have changed out the dials, the knob covers for this one. It actually, on the demo, I will have the original knob covers on it. But I can't get to them very well. They're just single kind of Telecaster kind of ones. But anyway, that's the review, Dave. That's coming Monday. Shut up, boy. Get back to the question. Vintage Lemon Drop. Yes, I would highly recommend that over an Epiphone Les Paul any day of the week. Epiphone Les Pauls are great, but muddy and dark sounding, whereas the vintage Les Paul is open and gorgeous. That was very, very over the top. Anyway. But yeah, but I would say go in and try before you buy. Because just in case, play it safe. Don't leave it to chance, because you do not want to order it blind. It comes and you hate it. You don't want that. It's really depressing. I've had that before, and I'm sure we all have at some point. So it's not very nice. So yeah, I would definitely say do that. Because they are just gorgeous Les Pauls. Anyway, you also asked, why did you modify your Lemon Drop so it looks more like a regular Les Paul? Well, there's a few things. I mean, I modified. I need a scratch plate on a Les Paul, because I can't play a Les Paul without one. Because I'm so used to playing Stratocasters where my fingers rest on the scratch plate and the strings are right there. When a scratch plate isn't there on a Les Paul, I find the distance between the body and the strings too deep of a thing, so I can't play. I can play it, but I can't. I mess up, and it just doesn't feel comfy. So I had to have a scratch plate on there just so I could play it properly. I can play it without, but I don't like to. This is, you know, that's a practical thing for me. I need a scratch plate on a Les Paul, and I need it high. I need it flush with the back pickup ring. I need it right up there so I can rest my my two fingers, my ring finger and my little finger on there, so I can do it. This guitar has the same thing. It's mounted right up to the back pickup ring, and just because of that. Hey, Dave. Sorry, Peter Green interlude. I had to play it. It just sounded right. It felt right. Anyway, why did I modify my vintage Les Paul to look a bit more traditional? It was just out of just kind of like what I wanted, really. You know, I got. Although I love the fact it looked like Peter Green's Les Paul, I wanted to personalise it in a way. The scratch plate wasn't it was a personalisation, but it was a practical personalisation. I had to have that there so I could play the guitar properly. The only other thing I did to it was I took the pickup covers off. Because I just like the look of it more. And I think it sounds different. And I reckon it sounds brighter. That could just be me being probably neurotic. It probably is. But I like the look of it more without the pickup covers. I like the bare humbuckers. I like the look of them more than having the silver covers on it. And for some reason, I think it does make it a smidgen brighter. You know, it's like 5-6% brighter. It's not massively brighter, but I do think it is a little bit different sounding. And I just love that look of those two humbuckers, especially the zebra. I've got a zebra in the neck and a full black one in the bridge, and I just love the look of the contrast. It's so cool. And I also have the neck pickup the right way round. It doesn't alter the Peter Green tone in any way, shape, or form. I just like the way that looks. So I'm just, you know, I just like it to look a bit more traditional. But again, it's just personal taste. I just messed with it, and you know, the way I've got it now is the way I love it. So it was just personal taste. Yeah, it was just one of those things I wanted to do. Okay, so yeah, and I say, you know, that's the thing. Once you get your guitar, if you're not happy with the way it looks, or after a while you're looking at it going, yeah, you know, I kind of want to change this, that, and the other, then do it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you know what you want, and it's not for anybody to tell you that, you know, modding your own guitars or changing the way your guitars look is wrong. You know, relicking, modifying, whatever. You know, it's your guitar. You bought it. You can do what you want with it. You know what I mean? It's yours to do with whatever you will. So yeah, that's why I modified my vintage Les Paul. I liked the look of it after I'd messed with it a bit more, and also I changed out the mishmash dials because I didn't like that. I understand why Gary Moore did it. Peter Green did it. I like the smaller original, traditional Les Paul kind of dials. Although I don't. The ones I've got on now are like an amber colour. I want some gold ones, so I'm gonna have to get some gold ones and replace them. I also put the knob marker thing. You know, the bit of metal that goes under the knob thing, and it's got like a little point, and you can see where it is. I really like them on the Les Pauls because you get to see where your dial is. Because I like to be quite precise. So I like to be able to turn the guitar down to 7 if I want, and turn the guitar down to 4 if I want, and turn it up to 9.5 if I want. So I like those kind of markers that the old Les Pauls have, and so I got some of them as well. And the modification, and also, sorry, I didn't mention the modification of the electronics as well, because it's got a master volume and a master tone and a coil tap. The whole purpose of that was, again, practicality. Is when I have 2 volumes, I get lost a bit because I'm so used to having one volume on a Stratocaster or a Telecaster. When I've got two volumes, I tend to get kind of like, which one am I on? And I'll invariably be doing this. I'll invariably do that, where I turn one of the pickups off and forget it's off, and then flip to it, and it's not on. It's not on, and it just like throws me off, and I don't like that. So having the guitar on all the time and just having a master volume helped me no end. So, and thank you to my friend Richard for that modification, because he absolutely just nailed that. And it's got a 1 meg pot in it. Oh, that is one mod I would recommend doing in a Vintage Lemon Drop, is dropping a 1 meg pot in the volume control, if you've got two. It just made the guitar breathe even more than the 500. It was just something about the 1K. It just really went bing, and like even brighter and more alive and even more Les Pauly. It was really cool. But it's still got a 500K on the tone, but the volume pot is a 1 meg, and it's just really, really awesome sounding. But you get practical modification the same way as the scratch plate was a practical modification. Okay, so yeah, that's what I did basically. Anyway, people of the tube, I need to ask you a question on the subject of this. Have you bought a vintage Lemon Drop recently, and what was it like quality-wise? Was it good? Was it bad? Did it sound good? Did it sound bad? How was it? So we can help this guy out, to just find out if they are still really, really good. Because for a long time, I just read that people were just saying they're rubbish. They're just terrible. So hopefully that's been rectified, because they're gorgeous guitars. Anyway, yeah, I hope that's answered your question. I hope I've answered all your questions okay again. I've got the fear, as usual, that I have answered them poorly. And I've just rambled on for no sensical reason. But hopefully there's something informative in there you can take away. So I do hope I answered your questions okay. And I will see you again on Friday for another vid. At this point in time, I'm a bit spoiled for reviews, because I've got an acoustic to demo for you. I've got this guitar to demo for you, but I think I'm going to leave this till Monday, and I have that amplifier there to demo for you, which is a Sub-Zero amp, and I'll tell you what, that amp and this guitar is a blues guitarist's dream. This amp on the drive channel, with the gain turned quite down, the reverb quite like, it's got a proper reverb tank in it as well, so it's really splashy reverb. Plugged into the overdrive channel with a little bit of dirt on the bridge humbucker is like a blues tone to die for. So I might demo that on Friday, but I don't know. We will see on Friday. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. Like I said, I hope I answered your questions okay. I'll tell you what. Let me know, comment section below. What do you want to see on Friday? Do you want to see this guitar or that amplifier? The other guitar I've got is an acoustic, and I want to get more used to that before I demo that, because I'm not 100% used to it yet. So which one do you want to see on Friday's video? Do you want to see, just put a comment below. Do you want to see the Heartwood semi-acoustic? Just put that as a comment. Or the Sub-Zero amp? You know, which one do you want to see on Friday? It's up to you, people of the tube. Let me know in the comment section below. And whichever one gets the kind of most votes, so to say, is the one I'll demo on Friday. And if they tie, I don't know what to do. So yeah, leave a comment below saying Heartwood semi-acoustic or Sub-Zero amp. Let me know which one you want to see on Friday as a demo review thing. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed this Q&A, everybody, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Yeah, have a great morning, afternoon, and good evening. And just because it sounds like a Peter Green sound. Now when the day goes to sleep, sing it, YouTube! the riff. You ever get that where you're like in a guitar shop or you're trying to show somebody something or you're just going to play it willy-nilly and just like... I thought you could play guitar. So did I. Yeah, I can do it now. Fine. Typical, isn't it? Anyway, goodbye, everybody. Hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening. Goodbye.